Hello everybody, it's Lucy Wolfe here, sleep consultant and author of the Baby Sleep Solution. I hope that you're really well today. In my last couple of videos, I've spoken extensively about what I describe as being sleep ability, and I've also discussed sleep segments and with particular reference to the overnight sleep segment. So if you haven't watched those videos already, it's probably a good idea to go back and watch them, because just try and tie the various videos in together so that you continue to have a greater understanding and better meaning for the changes that I recommend a family to make when they're trying to improve their children's sleep. So on foot of that today, I wanted just to discuss a couple of the things that I feel undermine families' efforts. And again, it kind of ties in with the posts this week as well, you know, about what you can do when you feel that you've tried everything. Because I guess very often when people struggle with their sleep, that's what they say. They feel they've tried everything, and as a result, they don't feel they're necessarily getting what I might describe as the yield. And don't forget, we're always looking for your child's personal best. We're not looking necessarily, although it would be nice for them to sleep through, what we're looking for is for them to have a deeper, more rested, less interrupted and age-appropriate type sleep for them, whatever that might be at any given stage. And I guess I know that if you have babies that are under 6 months of age, there's lots you can be doing, but it is a different approach. And again, I've covered that extensively in lots of different videos to date. And again, if you're in that world at the moment, it might be worth going back and looking at those, and bearing in mind that my book does cover from birth to 6 years of age as well. So just in foot of things that I think don't help, you'll see in a recent post that I suggested that bedtime is still not early enough, or it's too late. And I guess the whole point of mentioning that is that obviously you'll know from me with sleep ability and the talk of that it's about what your child associates with going to sleep and what they associate with going back to sleep. But obviously the timing of sleep has a huge implication as well on how well your child might firstly go to sleep, and then secondly how well they stay asleep as well. And very often when you have somebody who's not well rested, and that will be despite best efforts, but when your child isn't necessarily hitting all the marks for whatever reason, even a bedtime of 7:30 can be biologically too late, and it feels like it's not a late bedtime, and there's only maybe 20 or 30 minutes in the difference to what maybe I propose. But what I want you to think of is that when your child is not getting enough sleep, they have what I describe as being an overtired tank, and that overtired tank is continually full, and in some instances it's overflowing, and it's this tank staying full very much undermines the efforts that you make to improve your child's sleep. And one of the big things that we need to do is try and deplete that tank, and one of the ways of stopping that cycle is by having a much earlier bedtime, or aiming for your baby to be asleep earlier. And so as a result of that, I will always recommend when your child is 6 months plus and to 6 years, when we're trying to improve sleep, I'll always bring forward bedtime, and I will aim initially for them to be asleep by 7 p.m. And this ties in with my bedtime number line, where maybe we introduce your dinner around the 5 o'clock mark. We work on that separation of the last feed so that it's all done by about 6:15, and then we might start a bedtime routine around 6:30. And then we might look at aiming to be in bed asleep by 10 to 7 or so. And lots of you, I know, when you email and message me, you say you're following everything that you have read. Your bedtime is 8:30 or 7:45 or 7:30. And I would always think that that's still too late for someone who's not routinely sleeping great. So I will always encourage that shift. Will always encourage that shift forward, even though it feels difficult to do when you have long working hours, parents feeling like they don't get to see their children enough, and when you have commutes and you're only just getting home. In the very beginning, I would always start on a weekend. I would always bring forward the bedtime. And when your child becomes a better rested individual, and when their sleep ability gets high and that tank gets low, then we have a better capability of maybe pushing that back out again. So I suppose that's one big item that I think really dilutes the efforts that you make. And I would love you to put that in your back pocket, and more than anything, I would love you to start implementing it, because I think it makes a huge difference when we're trying to achieve better, more consolidated and less interrupted sleep for our children. So I hope that helps today, and I plan to do another post on some other diluting influences that may help you put the pieces of the puzzle together and start to move you forward. All the information is in my book, The Baby Sleep Solution, and you'll know that I have a huge library here of information and resources for you. And of course, you can always check out my website, sleepmatters.ie.